I said, hey, yo, I went from box shipping to drop shipping. No way I'm not shipping. Used to walk with the long nose, Scott Pippen. Had to toss it in the water. Feds caught it. Man, let me not even get into that right now. You feel me? Let me not even get into that right now. You feel me? Hold on, let me know. Hold on. I said, hey, yo, I went from box shipping to drop shipping. No way I'm not shipping. Used to walk with the long nose Scott Pippen. Had to toss it in the water. Feds caught me with it. Would have never got that offer. Shout out to my uncle. He told me that we make it out. Pretty bitch face down, screaming, please don't take it out. Never had a job, but I always had a paper route. Made it through a major drought. Devil on my back turned around and I chased him down. Happy birthday is how I feel with all this cake around. I still want revenge. What goes around comes around. Disgusted with myself. I never should have dumbed it down. 1,000 pounds was the goal, now it's more. Money all around in the walls and the floors. I see demons all around in the men and the whores. Dirty like them niggas out in front of the store. I said, your girl's always begging like a bitch at the gas station. Heard you want beef, I said, bet like the black station. Reason with the devil while I burn down the plantation. Black magic incantations and quartz crystals. Better learn to discern or they might get you. A Fed case and some fake friends is a big issue. No biggie, no puffy, more money, no problem. I solved them. It's so funny. Cold world, stop crying, get a coat. Man, I should have saved more when I was flying through the dope. That's 2020 hindsight. I had a vision in the dark like a nightlight. I sold heroin and coke, it hurt God. Yeah, I cried in my palms. It turned into Psalms. You can't tell I'm stressed, I look calm. They say still waters run deep. I hope I don't drown in these streets. You heard? You feel me? Let's get to the show. Oh, let's get to the show. Let's get to the show. This is not a show. I'm actually just smoking some weed, doing my sister a favor, walking her dog. She got this little puppy. She got a bloodhound. You feel me? So I'm just walking. I came over here to walk this dog. So I'm gonna chill for a little bit and probably walk it again before I dip. But yeah, smoke a little joint, get into some concepts. You feel me? You see the title of the show. I hate a liar more than I hate a thief. A thief is only after my salary. A liar is after my reality. Huh? Oh, let's get to some clips. Let me get to some clips. I should have had this set up already, but it is what it is. You feel me? And most people are only lying out of fear. That's why I'm going to keep pressing the issue on the topics of these shows. Fear. The little death that obliterates all. You feel me? Fear. The spell. The lie. The dark magic that's over your ass. That you need to look up like the labyrinth, like the white bitch in the labyrinth. You need to look up and say, you have no power over me. Huh? You have no power over me. Goofy. And if people, and I know people be stalking my show, watching my channel. I know everything about you, dog. This show's not going to be about you, but just understand. I know everything about you. I know you're stalking my channel, and what you're doing is you're compounding your problems by living in fear. You would have never had this issue, and you would have never became a liar that's trying to control reality and create a false reality if you weren't a fearful little bitch. You heard? Give me a second. Let me pull this up because I don't want to talk about this nigga. He know who he is. I just want to keep him on his toes. Shout out to Chaka, a real one. Shout out to Chaka, a real one. You feel me? This is going to be a disorganized show, but you know how it usually is. And I want to roll a joint. So give me a moment. I'm not going to stop talking. It's just give me a moment to set this clip up because you know I don't review many of these clips I don't review before I play, but we want to get into this. It looks interesting to me. Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity, 1940. Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity, 1940. So let's see what this is about. Let's see what this is about. You feel me? Let's see what this is about. 1 second. Boop. Boop.
This is ultimately where I was going with the beef between Nick, Candace, and Tucker. Not on here picking sides like many people are doing, but I kind of wanted to point out how this epitomizes everything wrong with our social media culture. What started out as a slightly uncomfortable interview for Nick and Candace quickly turned into he's a Fed, he's intelligence. It was all a setup. They ambushed me, and it's just one hurt ego overreaction after another. Then there's a rift and everybody's picking sides.
We're gonna let this play because I guess he's using some pop culture, current event type shit to juxtapose his point in this video. You feel me? I don't give a fuck about no Nick Fuentes, no Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. These are all agents. Everybody who they rise up, everybody who they make it seem like they have some organic grassroots shit going on, they are all agents. Yes, Candace, a nigga agent. Nick Fuentes, some type of gay Mexican white cracker, whatever the fuck this nigga is, and Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson seemed like he just, and to be real, I'm not caught up in this bullshit like most of you niggas, so I don't even know what the fuck Tucker Carlson is talking about. I think he's pretty cool. I saw that nigga fishing in Central Park one time. He was fishing. And that was probably propaganda to get me to think the nigga's cool. You feel me? Oh, that nigga just be chilling and fishing and shit. He's all right. You feel me? No. None of these people are to be considered when it comes to how do we say, what's that thing about thought? Damn, I want to use the right term. I wanted to go beyond influencers, but none of these people should be influencing you. You should be influencing you. You should be looking internally for your truths and your falsehoods and things that you can improve, because that's the only shit you got control over. You don't got control over a tiny Mexican gay guy going online saying, I don't like this, and the black people are doing, I don't give a fuck, nigga. Yo, I really don't give a fuck what you talking about. I really don't give a fuck what you talking about, dog. Because this is false reality. This is virtual reality. We've been living in virtual. As soon as we got outside of natural living, this is virtual reality. Because in real reality, I slapped the shit out of this nigga. Let's just be real about this. In real reality, no little cracker can come outside and say nothing to me, because that is him being protected by the virtual reality, the fake reality. The simulacra is protecting him. The system of police and this and that. And people, I know niggas have some inferiority complex. Let me make sure niggas can hear me. Yeah, all right. I know niggas have some inferiority complex about like, oh, the white man's doing this and this, that. You know why you think all that shit? Because you don't have an accurate account of history. If you do some historical research for yourself and start cross-referencing shit, you realize niggas weren't never scared of nothing. We weren't never scared of nothing. It's called war. And if the war ain't over. If you lose a battle, we ended up in some fucking quote unquote slavery, which I wasn't in, slavery or indentured servitude or some shit like that. It is what it is. But if you get a real account of what was going on and why that antebellum system of slavery had to stop, why that shit had to stop, it wasn't because crackers were benevolent. It was because niggas were turning up and putting foots on necks. You feel me? But I know you niggas don't want to believe that. We're just here, we're just lonely niggas. And look at this white man. He said something bad about black people. I don't give a fuck what a cracker gotta say. Fuck is wrong with you? Excuse me, guys. I didn't expect to get this hype right now, but when the spirit touches you, you just got to go ahead and let it go. But my bad. Let's go.
And that's all it takes. Now it's red versus blue, figuratively speaking, where 2 weeks ago, these were three of the biggest names out there exposing the gray activity. But now one's a narc, the other one's a snitch, and it's that way for hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh yeah, my bad for keep stopping this, but so you know, like this guy's lingo, he calls the people with the abnormally small hats, the smaller than usual hats, he calls them the grays.
With social media, you can present a very one-sided, narrow view of something that makes sense within the context presented, and a lot of people will never consider it from a different point of view after that. And I'll probably talk more about it at the end of the video. I want to keep this short, but it made me think of Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity, because Right now, it's not so much a battle of beliefs and ideals as it is just combating stupidity. And it is so easy to keep dividing everybody by these tiny fractures. Like in this case, where all three of them have done a lot of work exposing new people to Yeezy in our government and military, which should be a common bond for everybody that follows all three of them. Now there's a rift and it's red versus blue. Now the WWE sideshow outweighs the real issue. So, this is Dietrich Bonhoeffer's Theory of Stupidity. It's written on the 10th anniversary of the Austrian painter's ascension to the chancellorship of Germany. And he's writing this in terms of a hive mind mentality taking over the country, but it applies to both the hive mind and how easily people can be divided.
Avoid these three foods like the plague.
Orange juice or cereal?
Neither.
My bad.
Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. One may protest against evil, it can be exposed, and, if need be, prevented by use of force. Evil always carries within itself a germ of its own subversion, in that it leaves behind in human beings at least a sense of unease. Against stupidity, we are defenseless. Neither protests nor the use of force accomplish anything here. Reasons fall on deaf ears. Facts that contradicted one's prejudgment simply need not be believed. In such moments, the stupid person even becomes critical, and when facts are irrefutable, they are just pushed aside as inconsequential, as incidental. In all this, the stupid person, in contrast to the malicious one, is utterly self-satisfied and, being easily irritated, becomes dangerous by going on the attack. For that reason, greater caution is called for than with a malicious one. Never again will we try to persuade the stupid person with reasons, for it is senseless and dangerous. And I see this with almost every subject on the internet.
Let's take a second to absorb that. Pause. Anybody want to comment on that? Because I told you, we're watching this together right now. We're watching this together right now. The stupidity is stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. One may protest against evil, it can be exposed, and if need be, prevented by use of force. Evil always carries within itself the germ of its own subversion, in that it leaves behind in human beings at least a sense of unease. Huh? And I agree with him, because stupidity makes me feel uneasy too. Stupidity. Okay. Here's a great example. When the whole pandemic was going down, when the pandemic was really in its rise up, and people were believing shit that they don't even question anymore. People were believing, oh, there's people dying, falling out on the street. There's people dying. They're digging mass graves and all this bullshit, and it's all some like outbreak monkey type shit. You feel me? The people who are doing this to the masses, meaning, and these are just the names we know. It's probably beyond that. It's probably the archons and architects and goddamn reptilians and shit, like demons and shit like that. But these are just the names we know. You got the Fauci's, you got your Bill Gates, you got your Bidens, you got all these assholes, right? We can see those people as evil. We can see those people as evil, right? But they aren't that. They don't scare me. That's not a big issue to me. The stupidity is what had me terrified. When I saw motherfuckers in mass putting on masks because crackers told them to, niggas putting on masks, walking around telling me not to breathe the good air in the goddamn world. How you gonna tell me to cover up my nose and not breathe all the white man's air? When I saw people doing that, that had me a little fearful. I was like, damn, these people are retarded. These if they came on TV and motherfuckers said just hey, everybody go get disagreeable, and you can go, they can say anything. Or you know what, the purge is on. Go get all black people or whatever. All they gotta do is propagandize these fucking idiots, make them believe this or that, then tell them they're justified in whatever they're doing, and niggas will do anything. They're pathetic humans. You feel me? Pathetic humans. Shaka says putting on masks in cars by themselves Let's talk about stupidity. Let's talk about something that's truly you should be fearful of. You should be fearful of it. You know, let me get back to the video. You know, I can go on a little rant and monologue, especially when I start talking about dumb niggas. You feel me? And it's not and nothing's put it this way. A dumb person who admits that they are, you know what, let me not even get to that right now. Let me not even get to that.
Not everybody does it, but for some people, they see something that makes a little bit of sense and then they keep adding more and more to it. And then if you tell them that the original concept was wrong to begin with, it doesn't matter now. Facts that contradict one's prejudgment simply need not be believed. But now that person is utterly self-satisfied in their new belief system, and they will attack anything that goes against that. If we want to know how to get the better of stupidity, we must seek to understand its nature. This much is certain, that it is in essence not an intellect defect, but a human one. There are human beings who are of remarkably agile intellect, yet stupid, and others who are intellectually quite dull, yet anything but stupid. We discover this to our surprise in particular situations. The impression one gains is not so much that stupidity is a congenial defect, but that under certain circumstances, people are made stupid or that they allow this to happen to them. We note further that people who have isolated themselves from others or who live in solitude manifest this defect less frequently than individuals or groups of people inclined or condemned to social ability. And so it would seem.
Okay, hold on. Let's touch on that. Let's touch on that. Because that, while he was speaking, I was thinking, is stupidity intrinsically linked to fear? Huh? Because you might be fearful to not be stupid. Because if you're not stupid and you're informed, you then have a responsibility, because you are aware of your condition, you have the possibility and a responsibility to change your condition. So as long as you say stay stupid, you feel like you don't got to do nothing. And one thing that's worse than a stupid person is a dumb nigga who think he's smart. A dumb stupid nigga with a hat on and glasses, sitting there thinking like, I'm in control of everything. I can manipulate everybody's reality. Nigga, you can't do, nigga, I'm really God to niggas like you, little dumb niggas like you. You feel me? And you know what makes me so godlike? I understand that I'm not the one. I'm not the God. I'm a God. I strive to be more humble, more merciful, and all that shit. But there's other aspects, especially if you go into the Judeo-Christian biblical God and shit like that. I'm wrathful as a motherfucker. Do you know what nemesis means? Do you know what nemesis means? Hold on, my bad. I'm getting off track. Ashaka says, it's the excuse of ignorance being bliss, maybe out of fear. I don't know if ignorance is bliss, but ignorance is the lack of responsibility. So maybe the lack of responsibility is bliss. The lack of accountability is bliss to some people. You feel me? I love accountability. I love things being my fault. You know why? Because when it's directly my fault, I can fix it. If the shit is my fault, I can fix it. But you know what? I don't want to get too far off the point. Let's run through this real quick because I thought what he was saying was very interesting. Stupidity is a congenial effect, but under certain circumstances, people were so allowed this to happen, blah, blah, blah. Actually, I want him to say this again. My bad, guys. I want him to say this again.
This to happen to them. We note further that people who have isolated themselves from others or who live in solitude manifest this defect less frequently than individuals or groups of people inclined or condemned to social ability.
Tribalism, groupthink, it automatically equals stupidity. And people who are more introverted, isolated, tend to, what's the word that he used? succumb to this less? Huh? And why? Because you might just think, oh, because when you're with a group, everybody's being propagandized. And when you're with a group, the group is being propagandized. And when the group comes to a consensus, therefore the tribe has an idea. And if I go against the tribal idea, I am then ostracized from the tribe. And everybody wants to be accepted from the tribe and all that shit. You feel me? So you will intentionally, voluntarily be a dumb nigga, just like a lot of these people in these YouTube channels and all this stupid shit. You will voluntarily be a dumb nigga just to be within that group. Now, on the flip side, and this, I love how I pick these random clips up and they all come together. On the flip side, the person who is down to be a bit away from the social groups, a bit isolated. When you are isolated, what do you have? Could somebody answer me? When you are isolated, what do you have? It's kind of a trick question, so I'm gonna answer it. When you're isolated, you have yourself. You have yourself. Fact, Shaka. Time to think. And who's doing the thinking? You're doing the thinking. So when you're isolated, you have yourself. And where's the only place to go? The only place to go is within. That's where the truth is found. The truth is found within. It's almost like, I don't want to get too deep, but it's almost like people who are into ethogens and psychedelic experiences like that. Anybody who knows anything about a psychedelic experience, you'll know that, for example, there's the idea of the DMT experience is out. It shoots you into space, into the furthest, it shoots you all the way out there. And then from going all the way outside yourself, you can find the truth. You feel me? But it's very interesting to me. This is just a thought I have. I know people don't like this racist shit because they always think it's racist. No, it's just an idea. I don't hear niggas ever talk about seeing machine elves and all this weirdo jester and all this weirdo shit when they trip off the DMT. You feel me? And I haven't ever seen it either. And I produced in my past life. I produced, synthesized, and consumed a lot of DMT. You feel me? I ain't never seen no clockwork elf. I ain't never seen no jester, demonic thing messing with me. Never. But white people tend to report that a lot. You feel me? Why am I saying this? Walk with me. There is also the other experience that has the even more healing properties, because this is known as like this is known as a cure against being highly addicted to some drug or some shit. You feel me? Heroin, alcoholism, whatever the hell you're into. This root or plant is called, no, it's bark. Pretty sure it's bark. It's called ibogaine, however you want to say it. And that psychedelic experience is internal to the core of yourself. You don't blast out into space, you blast into yourself. You fully isolate from all reality and you come out with clarity. Huh? Oh, I'm nice with this shit. Shaka said lots of that. It is what it is. And here's the thing. Niggas out here will sniff cocaine and tell you if you do a little LSD, you're doing some crazy shit. Oh my God, you're doing some crazy shit. Nigga, I read. Niggas in Silicon Valley were reporting the niggas who weren't microdosing with the LSD could not compete output-wise when it comes to their work and creativity and problem-solving wise. You feel me? You are dumb niggas. I'm sorry to say it, because you don't read. And not my audience. I'm talking to people who might pass through here and not saying anything and they're just hanging out. You're dumb because you don't read. You know what got me interested in these things? Not because I wanted to get high. I despise being high. I'm not like you niggas. I've tried almost every drug. I despise being high. I like my clear mind. You feel me? Truly high. Hitting a joint a couple times or whatever, that ain't high. When you smoking that 32% THC indica shit and it's dumbing your brain down, that is high. That's drugs. I despise that shit. I'm not like you niggas. I know niggas that want to take the edge off. I want to have a drink. I want to take the edge off. I'm pissed off. I need to smoke a blunt. Nigga, especially when I was in the streets and I had to deal with issues or some shit like that, and something had me very hot when I was ready to do something to somebody. I didn't even know I was doing this. It was almost like a ritual. I sit down because there was tons of weed around me all the time. I'd roll a blunt and I sit it down in front of me and I cross my arms. And I just sit there and stew and think and be angry. I would never let a drug, even if you want to classify weed as a drug, be my savior from myself and my experience and what I'm having right now. I don't want this is just to change my mood or make, fuck that. I change my mood. That's what I would do. I would sit there as long as it took, and I would think until I cooled down, until I had a solution, until I had a process. You feel me? And then I could light the blunt up and chill. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Shaka. I know I might be rambling. Let's get into this a bit more. I'm gonna let him say that again. Anyways, let's go.
Manifest this defect less frequently than individuals or groups of people inclined or condemned to social ability. And so it would seem that stupidity is perhaps less a psychological than sociological problem. It is a particular form of the impact of historical circumstances on human beings, a psychological concomitant of certain external conditions.
Yes, he's using a Dorilla.
Hold on, that was interesting.
Okay, so some people.
Sorry. So he's saying stupidity, it is a particular form of the impact of historical circumstances on human beings. A psychological concomitant. What the fuck? I don't like. That's a word I don't use. Give me a second. I need to know. I ain't getting no super chats or nothing anyway. So I'm going to better myself and add value to myself. You feel me? I want to know exactly what that means. Give me a second. That's not a word that I use. Is that it? Yeah. All right. Let's say it. Concomitant. All right. Formal. Naturally accompanied or associated. Concomitant. Naturally accompanied or associated. A phenomenon that usually accompanies or follows something. All right, that's interesting. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. So let me get that again. It is a particular form of the impact of historical circumstances than a sociological problem. It is a particular form. Wait. I'm jumping all over the place. My bad. It is a particular form of the impact of historical circumstances. So stupidity is a particular form of the impact of historical circumstances. This is all leading into all my theories and shit. History is a lie. History is propaganda. So if you believe history and you believe that to be your story, if you believe history and you're not trying to figure out the mystery, and you believe that the historical account that you're being fed by the system that you don't trust is the account, it's going to make you dumb because it's a false data point, like I say all the time. It is a particular form of the impact of historical circumstances on human beings, a psychological concomitant of certain external conditions. Upon closer observation, it becomes apparent that every strong upsurge of power in the public sphere. All right, so he cuts it right there. That's very interesting to me. No, I don't got time to ponder right now. I know I'm doing the show.
Concomitant of certain external conditions. Okay, so some people are of remarkably agile intellect, yet stupid. It's kind of like the book smarts versus street smarts thing. We've got all kinds of really bright kids going off to college right now that believe every little thing that's being taught to them. And why wouldn't they? That's the teacher, the person of authority. And also they're just memorizing all of this stuff instead of learning why things are that way. Then they become experts in a very narrow field. But then in everything outside of that, they are just completely lost. But the dangerous part of this is They feel they are extremely educated, and therefore they think they know more than people who are just actually smart and not educated. And I think that's one of our biggest problems today in the socio-political world. Then you have people that are intellectually quite dull, yet anything but stupid. I grew up around all kinds of old country boys. Some of them are smart, some of them not so much. But even the not so bright one can put two and two together when they hear that we're using electric vehicles now to save the planet by burning less fossil fuels. And they'll say, yeah, but aren't you burning coal?
I may not be the smartest man, Gen 8, but I know what love is. That nigga Forrest Gump was dead ass retarded. The nigga's legs didn't work or nothing like that. You feel me? Nigga did all types of shit. Nigga did all types of shit because he was just doing it. Nigga had a shrimp company. You feel me? But he did succumb to the bitch though. The nigga did marry that nigga a bitch with AIDS. Wow.
To produce that electricity, yet they read at a third grade level. Some people are really smart, yet really easy to fool, while others aren't that bright, but you're not going to put anything past them. Then Bonhoeffer notes that people who spend more time by themselves and actually thinking for themselves are far less prone to this hive mind than people who live in a more social setting like our education system.
If managing money feels overwhelming,
Sure.
shameful, or
My bad.
So this is more of a culture problem than intelligence or psychological. Upon closer observation, it becomes apparent that every strong upsurge of power in the public sphere, be it of a political or of a religious nature, infects a large part of humankind with stupidity. It would even seem that this is virtually a sociological, psychological law. The power of
And that adds to something else that I wanted to say also. When he's saying that you can be a highly so-called quote unquote educated and or indoctrinated and just be a dumb motherfucker. You feel me? And that adds to the point I wanted to make, that there's nothing worse than a dumb nigga who thinks he's smart. You feel me? And I'm glad God made me a nemesis to people like that. You know, if you just want to go be a dumb nigga and go control your little world or whatever, just don't bring me into it. Because I'm going to show you the difference between your deceitful intelligence, what you think is intelligence, your deceitful shit talking, and a real nigga who stands on shit and doesn't believe he's the smartest person in the room. If I ever am the smartest person in the room, you know what I do? I leave the room. I cut off all my niggas because I know I'm better than them. These are good friends, and I had friends these are good friends that I try to motivate, made a little money with. I help them make money. Niggas didn't help me make no fucking money. You feel me? And these are all a bunch of people who, before I got away from them, I try to motivate them. This ain't it, man. This ain't it. I'm like, this ain't it. This is little money. We're making $1,000 a day. We're making $1,000 a day. This ain't no fucking money. This is the trap. This is the trap. This is the idiocy, nigga. This is the idiocy. I know niggas making legally and a relaxed pace $50,000, $100,000 a month. You feel me? And I'm here risking my life and my freedom for $1,000 a day, $1,500 a day. You feel me? Niggas don't want to hear that when I put them on task. You feel me? That's why if you are truly a leader, you gotta separate from niggas and either just lead yourself, or if you have the patience and capacity to, I think you should lead out others. That's why, even though I don't agree with these internet niggas, I'll shout out niggas sometimes. Shout out to the Satan and the Sitter. Because no matter what you say about that nigga, he created an idea, an ideology. He created a culture and got people together to act under one accord for a greater good. Whatever he considers a greater good. You feel me? Even if that greater good is lining their own pockets, which I don't believe that, because I'm not in this little group, but creating a marketplace, anybody who talks shit about that nigga, you're a stupid nigga. You're a dumb piece of shit. Why? Because I gotta give props to any nigga who creates a marketplace and he creates an economy where people are passing money back and forth between each other and everybody's coming up. Everybody who says like, oh, hey, black people, why can't you just be like the small hats? Why can't you just be like the small hats? Why can't we be more like them? But a nigga comes and does it And don't nobody want to support him. They just want to talk shit, eat dick on the internet because you a jealous nigga. I'm not jealous of any man. I'm God. How the fuck am I be?
One needs the stupidity of the other. The process at work, for instance, the intellect suddenly atrophy or fail. Instead, it seems that under the overwhelming rising power, humans are deprived of their inner independence and more or less give up establishing an autonomous stand. The stupid person is all stubborn, must not blind us to the fact that he is not independent. In conversation
Ooh.
with him,
Let's
one
talk.
virtually feels
Let's not let that go over your head. The fact that the stupid person is often stubborn must not blind us to the fact that he is not independent. Don't let that shit go over your fucking head. Stubborn, dumbass nigga. You got to realize he's not working within his own capacity. Because people who are truly not a part of a tribe or a group think or being influenced by outside forces, that's the beauty of being a human and having ability and capacity. You feel me? You are malleable because when you are truly a thinker, you have to be malleable. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's how you learn. If somebody tells me some shit, and it doesn't make me feel slightly uncomfortable or it's unfamiliar or it's not unfamiliar, guess what? You're not learning any new information. You're circle jerking with people. That's what you niggas on the internet like to do every fucking day. Circle jerk, have your dumbass conversations, discuss fake news. Just be bitches. You feel me? And it's crazy, you know, some people haven't been around. Sha'Carri Richardson beating up niggas, all types of this, all this popular news that can be spoke about, and some niggas aren't around because they bitches, they run when it gets hot.
One is dealing not at all with a person, but with slogans, catchwords, and the like that have taken possession of him. He is under a spell, blinded, misused, and abused in his very being. Having thus become a mindless tool, the stupid person will also be capable of any evil and at the same time incapable of seeing that it is evil.
Talk that shit. This is bars. Yo, if my yelling is fucking people up, I'm hype right now. I'm talking shit. You feel me? Talk that shit. And I'm gonna reiterate that. I don't care if nobody's here. Because somebody might need to watch this back later. Dumb smart niggas. You feel me? I'm gonna run this shit back. Hold on, let me tap this joint. The fact that the stupid person is often stubborn must not blind us to the fact that he is not independent. In conversation with him, one virtually feels that one is dealing not at all with a person, but with slogans. Huh? But with slogans, catchwords, buzzwords, phrases. I say this all the time. I be talking to a nigga, I feel like I'm talking to ChatGPT or I'm talking to the television or something. The fuck is wrong with you, nigga, you fake intelligent nigga? Take that stupid ass hat off, you bitch nigga. But the slogans, catchwords, and the like that have taken possession of him. Possession. And it's usually based in fear. All my shit comes full circle around this channel, bro. It's usually based in fear. Fear. The mind killer, the little death that obliterates all. He is under a spell, blinded, misused, and abused in his very being. Having thus become a mindless tool, the stupid person will also be capable of any evil, and at the same time, incapable of seeing that it is evil. This is where the dangers of diabolical misuse lurks, for it is this that can once and for all destroy human beings. Isn't it so deep with that? Yo, that little segment is so that excerpt, whatever, that shit is so fucking deep. Niggas are possessed under a spell of slogans and catchwords and being a hoe. You feel me? Because guess what? If you let go of outside influence, you look within yourself, you can never be a bitch. You can never be a hoe. You feel me? Because you are a seed of God. I know some people don't want to hear that, but you are a spark of the divine, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And the universe ain't a bitch like you, nigga. Stop fighting the universe. Get down and lay down, pussy. Stop fighting the universe.
This is where the diabolical misuse lurks, for it is this that can once and for all destroy human beings.
I went out with a 61-year-old.
This bitch going out with 61-year-old niggas.
A lot of people feel a huge need to fit in and be respected by their peers. So even if they believe something completely insane, they're going to go along with it just to fit in. And this is used against us on a huge scale in the political world with all the slogans and, it was my body.
All right, Static in the Attic. I don't need to hear you talk like that, but you do bring up some good books and information and shit. That's why I still fuck with you, even though I think you're Asian too, white man. Shout out Iota, Shock Up in here, Aaron's in here, whoever's hanging out. Aaron says, "This is exactly what I think anytime I hear someone speak against being woke or pro-black. Niggas sent themselves to sleep because a rando white dude complained about wokeness on some Bugs Bunny shit." Okay, I understand what you're saying, Aaron. But the idea of being enlightened, you feel me? Being free, having knowledge of self, those are better terms than woke. Woke, even if it wasn't given to you, even if niggas made it first, the crackers took it and did what they want to do with it. You feel me? There's certain words I don't like to hear. I always love going back to the pandemic. Remember when the pandemic came out and niggas started saying new normal? Nobody ever said that shit ever. But now I'm outside and somebody was just saying the same shit that they were saying on the news. And I was like, oh, you people are dangerous. You people are dangerous. You people are really beneath me. And here's what I got to say. And people might think it's arrogance when I'm saying this, but listen to what I'm saying. Just hear me out. Those who are free thinkers and understand the workings and the mechanism of the lie. That's why you really are God. You're godly. Because I understand the mechanisms of the lie. I understand manipulation. I understand how to start a cult. I understand all those things. I understand how to get people to run their fucking pockets to me. You feel me? And I don't do it. That is true godliness. I'm merciful. You feel me? Forgive them for they do not know what they do, or whatever the nigga says in the Bible. You feel me? Let me get into it, Doug. I think I'm saying too much. Y'all don't hear me.
My choice all the way up until 2020. And then it became all about women's rights after that because, well, you no longer have the right to decide what's right for your body. And millions of people just rolled from one thing to another without ever considering the hypocrisy of it. They just know that's what everybody else is doing now. And how can this many people be wrong? And now they'll fight tooth and nail with you about their new belief system that they don't even realize they just changed. Yet at this very point, it becomes quite clear that only an act of liberation, not instruction, can overcome stupidity. Here we must come to terms with the fact that in most cases, a genuine internal liberation becomes possible only when external liberation has preceded it.
I don't know if I agree with that. We might have to run this real quick. Yet at this very point, it becomes quite clear that only an act of liberation, not instruction, can overcome stupidity. Here we must come to terms with the fact that in most cases, a genuine internal liberation becomes possible only when external liberation has preceded it. Am I interpreting this wrong? Because I feel like the internal liberation precedes or whatever the external liberation. You got to free your mind before you free your body. What's that shit that black people were singing back in the days? Even though this was probably propaganda too. Free your mind and the rest will follow. That well, what they say after that? Are the next lines propaganda? Does it say be colorblind, don't be so shallow? That's what they say? Whatever, you understand what I'm saying. Until then, we must abandon all attempts. Until then, we must abandon all. Interesting. Until then, we must abandon all attempts to convince the stupid person. This state of affairs explains why. Okay, so I understand where he's coming from. Because maybe there's some people who just got the light, some people who just aren't just cooked, and other people who are just cooked. And the people who are not cooked have to cause an external liberation. And then those who are cooked and they get away from propaganda for a little while and these external influences, because you're not saving them, you're giving them the opportunity to save themselves. Then they can look within and come to the truth, because the truth is the truth. That's why I hate this online shit. I was going to do a whole show about how debates are pointless. Debates are pointless. Two tribes show up. They both argue that the other, and maybe out of this whole debate of bullshit, whatever the debate, whatever the point of contention is in the debate, maybe you would get, I don't even think one person gets convinced. If you're tribal, you're tribal. I don't think one person, I agree with this white nigga talking right here. Until then, we must abandon all attempts to convince the stupid person. Or put foot to their ass. Like I'm putting foot to this dumb nigga's ass, right? I'm not trying to convince him of shit. I'm showing this guy through, and it's also helping me. It's helping me break my pattern away from the streets. The law used to be my enemy. The law used to be my enemy. The law is now my friend and my tool and my weapon and my shield. You feel me? So I'm not trying to convince this dumb nigga. I'm showing him, you have no power over me or over anybody or any reality, even your own reality. You a bitch nigga, and you're gonna die a bitch unless you repent. You feel me? And look within. The same thing. And look, see how all my points come full circle? Look within. Look within. You feel me? You feel me? I'm rich forever. I've done the work. I've done the work. The universe just gotta catch back up with me right now. You feel me? But niggas like you, let me not even go there. Let me not even go there, but the white man right here talking about stupidity and dumb niggas whose minds don't work, and then they end up just being evil and shit like that. This is it. Are there any chats? Yeah. Not necessarily physical, but still. Expound upon that, Aaron.
Until then, we must abandon all attempts to convince the stupid person. Yeah, so they're never going to sit down and rationalize things for themselves. It's only if they see a change externally, and then it's monkey see, monkey do.
Best and worst dinner.
This state of affairs explains why, in such circumstances, our attempts to know what the people really think are in vain, and why, under these circumstances, this question is so irrelevant for the person who is thinking and acting responsibly.
Whoa, yo, this white man is cooking. This white man is cooking. In such circumstances, our attempts to know what the people really think are in vain. And why? They ain't thinking shit. That's why I don't give a fuck what's going on the news or what most people are saying to me and all that shit. You ain't thinking shit. You're caught up in animal farms, tribes, groups, conglomerates. You feel me? Under these circumstances, this question is so irrelevant for the person who is thinking. I wonder what the people are really thinking. That is irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant for the person who is thinking and acting responsibly. Hold up. He said, YouTube deleted my comment. I said an act of obliteration. I said an act of liberation, not an act of violence. And that might be a whole nother discussion. That might be a whole nother discussion. Because because I know people don't believe in shit outside of physical reality that they can observe. So let me give you some scientific data of something that you might think is impossible, but yet it's been observed. There was an experiment done, meditation groups, right? And every day, I forget, it was like early 90s or some shit like that. New York was on fire. You feel me? And everybody knows when the winter ends and summer comes, the crime rate goes up. Niggas is outside turning up. You feel me? There was a meditation group that organized, and they told the police chief or whatever, the mayor or whatever the fuck, beforehand that they were doing this. And they were going to concentrate on bringing the crime down 50%. They were all meditating at a certain time of day. Everybody would meditate. That was a part of this, a meditation group or whatever. And I think it might have been international, about this area, this place, and bringing, and just the idea, the imaginative, and just imagining good things and the crime going down and shit. It sounds like nonsense, right? Sounds like nonsense, right? The police chief said, like, the only way we're gonna bring down crime in this city in the middle of the summer, is if we get a blizzard. That's the only way we're gonna bring down crime 50% in the summertime in the city. It's only if we get a fucking blizzard. You feel me? Guess what happened? This is documented.
The word of the Bible, that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, declares that the internal liberation of human beings to live the responsible life before God is the only genuine way to overcome stupidity. But these thoughts about stupidity also offer consolation in that they utterly forbid us to consider the majority of people to be stupid in every circumstance. It really will depend on whether those in power expect more from people's stupidity than from their inner independence and wisdom. And unfortunately, we now live in a world where the powers that be rely on the groupthink stupidity much more than anyone's inner independence and wisdom.
If you haven't exercised in years, you have to start small with my.
In the 1970s, psychologist Carlos Cipolla developed the 5 laws of stupidity, and he warns of spontaneous mob mentality and that we will always underestimate how many there are in a group. Stupid people are dangerous and damaging because reasonable people find it difficult to imagine and understand unreasonable behavior. An intelligent person may understand the logic of a malicious person. His actions follow a pattern of rationality. But the stupid creature will harass you for no reason, for no advantage, without any plan or scheme, and at the most improbable times and places. You have no rational way of telling if, when, how, or why the stupid creature attacks.
Yo. I hope, homie, I hope you're stalking my channel right now so you can understand yourself. I hope you're stalking my channel so you can understand yourself. You feel me? His actions follow a pattern of rational. Yeah. What do you say? You have no rational way of telling if, when, how, or why the stupid creature attacks. You feel me? There's no rationale behind it. You just a dumb nigga. You feel me?
Because the stupid person's actions do not conform to the rules of rationality, it follows that we are generally caught by surprise by the attack. We cannot mount a rational
surprise, off guard. You feel me? Just like, for real? Damn. I ain't putting nobody, but niggas know, I gotta say nobody else's name, but niggas know this is wild what we're watching right now.
defense because the attack itself lacks any rational structure. Non-stupid people constantly forget that at all times and places and under any circumstances, dealing with or associating with stupid people always turns out to be a costly mistake. Yet our naivete, compassion, and mercy for these stupid creatures may lead us to put them in positions where they can exercise authority over others. We enable them to hurt themselves and others. We hope to give them a sense of self-worth that will overcome their stupidity. We think it's an issue of education or life experience, that they're victims of circumstance and not innately stupid. Thus, we help them rise to power, as with the H-Man and Stalin, even allowing them to make our regulations and laws and to enforce them. But in truth, this never accrues to the welfare of a society. Instead, it leads to its downfall. This is as true in the church as in the world. So those who would lead must first demonstrate they can manage their own households well.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
They must make intelligent choices that benefit others as well as themselves, ethical choices, showing that they are servants of all. Yeah, I've unfortunately done this all the time. There's people that I'm trying to be rational with and explain things out. And eventually I just have to accept, okay, there's no getting through to them. I had a guy get really mad at me over these photos that the creator themselves said were AI and therefore not real, and they still insisted they were real. And every time I'm in a situation like that, they are not simply trying to lay out their side of the story. It's always a full frontal attack. And now I'm stupid, closed-minded, been working for the Brotherhood the whole time and all this stuff, even though.
All right, that's enough. I want to see if there's going to be any more excerpts.
Would this make you buy a
Excerpts from some type of literature. You feel me? His opinion is not bad, but yeah, I don't think he's showing any more literature. So yeah, I didn't have any plan for this show. But it worked out pretty cool. Everything always comes full circle. It always comes full circle. But you know what it is. Shout out Iota, Aaron, Shaka, whoever was hanging out in the clouds. You feel me? I would say try not to be stupid, but if you're dumb, you're dumb. And I guess I would have to make some change in the external world for you to be able to make your internal change because you're so damn dumb and weak. You feel me? So for us who would like to see some type of change externally on a massive scale, we have to spark the external change on some scale to spark some sort of internal change within the dumbasses. That's the only way this can work. And that's if you care to do it. You feel me? That's if you care to do it. But yeah, this is disagreeable. I'm disagreeable. We are disagreeable. This has been another one. Do the YouTube things. I'm out.